The
Wait,
Survivor
why-
Specialist
why
Phil,
am I
Will,
not
and
surprised?
Blake
There we go. Come on.
are back, and Will is now in the top right for anybody who's only listening. That was the most important thing here. Today's episode probably going to be our final Survivor 50 episode of the summer.
No,
I know, crying,
more
right?
50 content, please.
Well,
Wait,
don't worry.
this is just not true.
Well, there's
'Cause,
more
like-
50 content coming out with the everything you need to know about and the defining episode series, but no
Right.
more live episodes, because next week we're going to do a AU versus the world fantasy draft. That'll be next week, and the week after that, AU versus the world.
What do you mean we? Yeah.
Well, yeah, not the two of you. The two of you are on hiatus now, I guess. Unless you
Wait,
guys
no, I
jump in.
want to be in on AU versus the world when I can make it. Like, I'm pretty stoked to watch this season.
I love it. I mean, the good news is that's good news to hear, because we are going to be so chaotic with travel during that time that it's going to be chaotic. So Will ready to go for some AU versus the world. So will still be around. Everybody wave
Well, no,
goodbye to
when I
Blake.
can make it, I am down to be there and do it. I know we're both travel heavy the next like month and a half, but I'm going to tune in. How do you even watch AU versus the world?
I'm in
it sounds like you're really jazzed
I'm in
about
a
it.
Google Drive. That's all I know. I'm in a Google
Okay.
Drive that has the links.
Well, I've never watched an Australian season as it airs. I've only attempted to watch one Australian season, and then it was like, wait, I'm in like episode 8, and it's like still the pre-merge, and like only 3 people have been voted off, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And there are 80-minute episodes, so
I watched episode 8 of Titans versus Rebels today, so I have 16 episodes left, and then I'm entirely caught up
Jesus.
on Australian Survivor. So just in time for the show to be canceled, with JLP not coming back for the next season, it has me concerned. That's for sure.
what happened there? Do we know? Has it been exposed?
He said that it was because ratings were going down, so essentially they just like told him they're not renewing him.
Wait, the seasons? No, but they just started renewing him. They're still
They're
gonna
just
have-
not renewing his contract, I guess.
Huh.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's very good. I actually do quite enjoy him. And yeah, I'm going to be bummed that he's gone. Now that I finally caught up live, he disappears on me. So this is why you never catch up, man. I should have just stuck with my guns and said I'm never watching
Don't meet
Australia.
your Survivor heroes.
Here we are, though. So today's episode is going to be Where Did the Fans' Hands Land? And Will came up with this name. Will, that was good, man. Will just went through a bunch of rhyming, and we kind of watched it happen live. How proud are you of this title right now?
Medium. I don't know if I think it's cute and fun. I don't know if it's like the greatest thing ever.
I mean,
We've had
nobody's
that- we've
going to
had some
click
more,
on it.
I think still the Will Wall tell all with Phil and Will. It's still the best one.
Oh man, the Will Wall tell all is so good. That was great. Oh man, I miss Will Wall. What the point of this podcast is that we are going to essentially try to figure out where did the fans land on each of the topics or each of the categories that they were allowed to vote in. And we're also going to talk kind of through like worst case and best case scenarios for some of these. Just because I think that would be fun, because we were doing Redemption Island. We pre-recorded our Redemption Island stuff for our Patreon, patreon.com/thespecialist. If you want to hear us bitch and complain for literally 3 hours about Redemption Island over the course of 4 weeks, it's a good time, I guess. But Will had asked the question in that of what was the best case scenario of Redemption Island? And that's something we get into on that. And I think that's kind of like something to be thinking about when we're looking at these categories that were in our hands, supposedly, that we voted on, that we get to choose. What are the best and worst case scenarios if you're production that you're saying, let the fans choose? Because they didn't let us choose if it was 2 or 3 tribes or a final 2 or a final 3. They let us choose things it seems like they're okay with it going one way or the other. So let's dive into what the best case scenario is and what the worst case scenario is. And I don't know, try to figure out some of these answers, like, what color tribes do we have? Although we all know that because the first challenge.
That's the one we know. That's the only one we know.
It is. It is. Do we care about that? What's the best case scenario with the colors of the tribes?
Well, I know Blake really hates the teal color. So maybe we open that one up to Blake to start.
I think it's also worth talking about, like, if this is the one here, who benefits it as a contestant?
Mm-hmm.
Of like, there's going to be some people that it behooves them to have max challenge or max 4 people final tribal council. That's better for some contestants versus the other, or the most amount of twists definitely helps the more strategic people instead of the people that are like, what's an idol? I've never played in a season with 2 idols before.
Yeah, I know. So that's gonna be like best case, worst case. That didn't answer the colors of the tribes, though.
No,
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
you
I
pick
wanted
you
to
pick
know what
one thing to
colors.
talk about 45 days ago, and it's all, oh, Blake Teal. That's a fun joke. I'm trying to spread my wings, guys. Let me do something else.
I just feel like you have tremendous insight on to the colors and specifically the color teal, and like we would be like kind of bummed if you didn't share it with us. This is your moment.
Yeah, I'm
Blake's
so.
about to quit the podcast live on
I
air.
mean,
So
yesterday was rough enough. We can't be doing this back-to-back days.
We're not going to talk tribe colors. We're not going to talk the immunity necklace
okay,
because it really doesn't matter. We're going to be trying to just dive into the things that.
Should we do a Phoenix this big or a Phoenix this big?
Yeah, or okay, fine. Something Blake wants to talk about. All right,
yeah,
Blake.
There we go, Blake. Blake, hop in here.
But yeah, so we're going to be talking about all of these, and the first ones we got were tribe colors, rice or no rice, Firemaking challenge, or the LA reunion. Now, the LA reunion, I'm assuming happened. Is there really there's really no like best case, worst case scenario here, right? Like the worst case scenario would just be not doing this. I feel like maybe production or Jeff or somebody kind of missed out on how much people love this. I feel like the best case scenario is they get to announce a winner live again, which is what people want. And so even if some of the season gets spoiled, we don't actually truly know the winner, right?
Wait, why do you think having a reunion leads to spoilers? Is that what you're saying? I feel like it's the opposite.
No, I'm saying having a reunion's better.
Yeah. Oh, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, it would be crazy if you didn't vote for this. Like, I don't know who is sitting there like being like, no, I love it when it's that core raw reaction. Because I think even Jeff likes the reunion. I think he likes the fanfare of it all. He just had to sell why they were doing the after show or whatever they called it. Because like there's no world in which that's better. And especially for season 50, like you have to have a party. Like have the party, have the celebration, like have the fanfare. Remember when this just never happened, but remember when Jeff, I feel like, teased that it's gonna be like a full year-long celebration of Survivor leading up to 50? Like, we're within a year of the season airing. The season's already shot. Like, where is this celebration? Where, like, I thought they were like going to go on tour.
We have been
like,
nonstop talking about 50 ourselves for 3 weeks.
We're the ones.
We are the ones.
I think we're doing more to celebrate 50 than the show is at this point. Like, I thought Jeff was going to get in a big bus and it was going to be Brandon. It's like Survivors. Here's the map and it's zigzagging down. Maybe Jeff's not in the bus the whole time. He's probably flying. Maybe he has a private jet or something. But like you're stopping cities and it's like a big Survivor convention. They're bringing those challenges that always show up at the finales or at Pop Fest or like at events. You're getting former players. There's panels. Like there's been none of that. Zero.
And what's sad about it is this is the 25-year anniversary of Survivor. May 20, what is it, 25th or 31st? May 31st, I think. That was the 25th anniversary of Borneo premiere. And obviously, we don't get it to line up as nicely as we did with Heroes versus Villains and with some of these other, and with Winners at War and stuff because of the COVID year that split in between. But like this was going to be like you're celebrating the actual the entire 25th year. And it's almost like the culmination of that 25th year was going to be Survivor 50 airs. And I agree with you, Will. Like this summer, yeah, the CBS Survivor Instagram account has been having more fun and posting highlights and clips of players and stuff. But there's been nothing else. It's been super, super quiet, which I'm kind of surprised about because if I don't remember exactly when it was announced that it was going to be returning players, but I feel like that was a random summer event or something. Like maybe I'm
April.
wrong.
It was April 2024.
Okay.
Because I was in Hawaii for the Lost 20th anniversary. And Lost actually they do celebrate still. They actually, and that show it's not even airing. And they had their 20th anniversary and they got had a live concert. They had some of the actors, the creators come out and like everyone went to Hawaii and it was a big party celebrating the show. And they don't even need to do that anymore because the show's not even on.
Yeah.
Take notes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
I
let's produce something real quick. Like, what do you guys want? A 3-month museum pop-up or something of like you can go to CBS in New York or CBS in LA, and here's the front gift shop of you can buy every single DVD that's ever existed of Survivor. It's in the gift shop. Here's the t-shirts. Here's once a 50th anniversary, it's not 50th, 25th anniversary buff that you can only get on site at the CBS shop. Like, is that cool enough? We have people come in, like a whole cast of, if your seasons were 1 through 10, show up this weekend. If your seasons are 11 through 20, show up this weekend. 21 through 30, show up this weekend. Like, I think that would be an amazing thing that takes probably a staff of 25 to organize, another staff of another 50 to 100 to be security guards or come on through here or parking attendants. Is it worth doing that to celebrate a cultural touchstone and make this be as important for the people who are 16 to 24, who, if they saw that right now, would be lifelong Survivor fans?
I think yes. I mean, when I went to the finale for 40, what was that? 46, 44, 44, I guess. Whatever season it was.
That wasn't, they didn't have finales for 44.
No. Bryson Wen did it in New York. I went up to New
Yeah,
York
no,
for
stay,
that.
what, yeah, not alive.
Yeah, that's
Who's
all I'm
they?
saying. But like I go up to New York and like, yeah, there's like a Harry Potter pop-up for whatever anniversary of whatever was, whatever book. I think it might have been like the 20th anniversary or 20 something anniversary of like one of the movies or something. I forget. But it's like, why isn't Survivor doing something like that?
Well,
Because Survivor, like if you did one of those in New York City and one of those in Los Angeles, you can't tell me that people wouldn't go to that, even if it was only like, I mean, well, how many pop-ups do we see in LA? And like, whether it was the Star Wars pop-up or like what, like these things hit in the big cities.
Well,
I
not
went to
even
one
that.
for Knives Out, the Glass Onion, and it was like, click this button, it's halfway an escape room. Like, they've had a fake pop-up of like do challenges, and Jeff will talk later. But like, if they had like, all right, split into groups of 4v4, we're gonna do a quick season of Survivor over the next 30 minutes of just elimination, and then have this Survivor ice cream that we partnered with a local spot. Like that's all
Maybe
I
in, like,
did during
Hell,
that one.
Michigan.
It was so
Salt
cool.
and straw. It's like cast your vote flavored ice cream. There you go. My big thing with this is like, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like they're doing 1 or 2 events a year anyway. Like, Phil, didn't you go to like a private pre-screening of the premiere of season 40? Was it 48? Was it this last
Yeah, it was
season?
48. This last
And you
one, they did a
literally
premiere event,
just
Jeff was there. That's where they announced 50 was going to be in the
New
New
York, and it was a huge event. They invited some, press members, some podcasters, some social media people, and like they're already doing that. And then didn't they do something for 45? I remember, because like it was the Kelly boot, the What the Hell guys was like a
Yeah.
pre-screened event
That was in
somewhere.
New York City. Yeah.
So it's like
Jeff
this
saw.
concept isn't foreign in any way. And like we've talked about, like we've seen other pop-ups, like versions of this where they bring the games out and everything. So like, it's not like they don't have an infrastructure to make something like this happen. And it's been very quiet on the front. Now, maybe there's going to be a premiere once it airs. There's going to be a big premiere party for Survivor 50 once it airs. I'm more talking to like the build up, like the year-long celebration, which I swear were words out of Jeff's mouth. Like,
they were 100%.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm not making that up. Like, that's been completely non-existent. But I think, there will be some sort of premiere event, imagine, in the live finale, which is kind of, we're on this mega tangent here, but like the live reunion is happening for sure.
It is. And Kevin Hernandez with the super chat here. So we always love that. If 50 has a reunion, will be legends in the audience. I think that it will be a big, like, invite a bunch of people to it. And I think a lot of people will, because after Heroes Villains, there was like the biggest party Survivor ever threw, is like what people essentially say. Like there was that big 10-year anniversary party that was a bunch of players, like all the players came out of the woodwork for that. And I feel like this is probably the last time we would get that type of big celebration of Survivor, where a lot of people will be coming out to, assuming this is in Los Angeles, because that's where they were doing all of the reunions previously. And I think it even says LA in the question for this.
Oh yeah, like bring it to LA. Yeah, it might be interesting though. This might be something to look at. I'm pretty sure
take our bitch ass to the Grove.
I think CBS and Paramount have sold like they don't own that lot anymore. I think they sold that stage, that studio. I think there is still Radford though, the other one where the Big Brother set is, but like I don't know if they own it. They might have sold it and then maybe they rent. I don't know, but there is some movement on those parts. So like maybe they would rent like a bigger venue and like they do have tickets on sale to the public. That's never been the case. Maybe for 50, it's like let's go to Dodger Stadium, let's go to SoFi, like let's blow this thing out. To really make it feel special and unique, and not just go to like a small stage where only 200 people can go.
Well, and let me bring that up though, because a lot of it was like, I mean, it was, do you work at CBS or do you know somebody who can get you a ticket who worked on the show or works at CBS or was on the season and they get their 5 invites or whatever it was. But back in Marquesas, they did it in Central Park. So it's not that they don't have the ability to do it in a big location. Like I do hear you. Like, are they going to do it at Dodger Stadium? No, like that's not going to happen. I would be shocked.
Why not? I mean, Dodger Stadium is more likely than SoFi.
Why not do it at like the Griffith Observatory or something? Like do it up there. Like do something like that where like you can fit more people.
The Hollywood Bowl, brother. That's where
Hollywood Bowl would honestly be like so cool.
Yeah,
that's like the right size
too big. Do it at the Greek.
We're literally doing all the work. Like whoever is on this planning committee that doesn't
exist. The Palladium.
Yeah,
just name every venue in LA.
Yeah, we just yeah.
But
I think the Wiltern would be great.
50 finale reunion at the Hollywood Bowl would be like legendary.
Iconic.
Yeah.
That would be the and why I'm bringing this up and why we're spending so much time on this one is like we haven't done a live reunion in so long, and fans getting into the live reunion is so hard. I know that when I went twice, and one of them, like Ben Feller, who was one of our patrons for a while there, he was there and he had won some contest to get in there. And I know Celestino went one time, who was also a patron and had done some amazing race podcasts for us. Like, but it was always winning a contest or winning the seat filler thing or something like that. It was never just, oh, you get to go. Why not turn this into a sell tickets for the event kind of thing? But, you know, do it however CBS wants to do it. So we don't end up in like the Taylor Swift era of, oh, you want to go to the 50 finale? Like enjoy spending $400 to sit here. Like they got to figure out a way to do that. But maybe there is something to that where they make this a little bit bigger, because I would bet out of all of the votes, this was probably the most one-sided out of all of them. In my opinion, I bet you that this was like an 80-20, 90-10 vote, maybe even more than that.
Higher.
Yeah. Whereas when we get to some of these, I could see people having stronger opinions of, no, I don't like this. Reunions within themselves, I know a lot of people don't watch, but the reunion itself is still so much better than the live after show. Like if people aren't watching the reunion, they're not watching the live after show anyway. So create the event, because going and playing the games and like competing in the challenges beforehand, that's something that Survivor fans would love to do. And you have the infrastructure to do it right now. So yeah, I think live reunion is a definite. It's just a matter of what's it going to look like. Is it going to be super exclusive, or is it going to be like, hey, we have 760 people who've played Survivor and like 750 of them are still alive and they want to bring their families. Let's get a place where we can do 15,000 people. Like that's the serious question.
What's crazy is the only finale I went to was the worst finale ever, where like I was like, oh, this is super fun. And then it took such a turn where you're like, maybe that's why they don't do that. Survivor 39. Like it was literally the last one they did, because 40 was COVID.
Yeah.
So the last time
the last one, huh?
The last time they put everybody in seats, they're like, all right, literally commercial breaks happening. I can see all this happening. I'm sitting next to all the Mariano kids, and it's like, all right, it's just going to be Jeff and Kelly for this part. And it was like,
yeah,
rough.
Yeah.
So that is kind of the last taste of their mouth, where it's like, I don't think they're rushing to do that, because that's the last time they did all this.
Yeah. St. Cliffo had said earlier, aren't they doing like live events? They're doing stuff at colleges basically every week. I thought during season, they do quite a bit of stuff at colleges. And that's where the New York thing was. I went to an FIU event a couple of years ago. Well, no, during 46, I went to an FIU event. So they are going to the colleges and doing that. But like, in the summertime, like building up the hype after they announced that season 50 had happened. And then Jeff put out the Instagram or TikTok, whatever it was, of like season 50 is about to wrap up filming. Like, have Jeff come out to like stuff. I don't know. Maybe they're planning to do more during 50, but yeah, anyway, that's
No, I mean,
Those
while it
moments-
airs, sure, but like it's not the year-long build-up that we had been anticipating, or that we were told was going to be something.
Blake starred this comment. Will, I just need you to know that. So this needs to come up as we transition. This is the type of stuff Blake stars. This is from Tanner. I usually never catch you guys live, so I just want to say you all are handsome AF. Blake starred that. He ignored the rest of your comments, but he made sure to star that so that one would get read.
I'm trying to train the audience a little bit here. Okay.
And then he fixed his hair. Okay. That's also Blake's burner account along with St. Cliffo. Thank you, Fender. Great stream title, triple rhyme. There you go. All right, let's get into some of these that people probably actually care about. Firemaking or no firemaking? Let's talk about where we think the vote actually landed and the best and worst case scenarios for this firemaking or non-firemaking.
I think they are going to fudge the numbers on this, and we're going to have a firemaking thing. And they're going to play like, hey, it's hands in the fans. Here's all the things, and we're going to enjoy it. And then it's like, they're going to tell us periodically. They're not going to tell what won every time. So when we get to Final Four and there's time, they'll be, the fans chose it. They all wanted a firemaking. And by then we'll be too far in. We'll be 13 episodes in. We'll have all our thought process. All of our favorites will be murdered and ignored by the time we get to this point where we'll be like, oh, okay, I guess, Jeff, you win. You get your firemaking challenge.
Will, are you a conspiracy theorist like Blake? Do you think that they care that much to offer it up to us and then say, now we're going to rig the numbers?
No, because I felt like when Jeff announced this, there was a little bit of like, you know what? You guys rip on me so much on social media. I take so much heat with all my producing decisions. Like, it's kind of like a big screw you guys. We're going to listen to you.
Go to Fiji twice a
know
year for millions of dollars.
I know we're talking about like what's best case scenario, what's worst case scenario. Like, what does the show want? And like, what do the fans want? And like, how are these things going to work? But like, there is a part of me that thinks that Jeff, maybe this wouldn't be his like top choice overall of how the season plays out. But like, hey, we're going to name a season in the hands of the fans. The fans vote on everything. And then the season isn't good. And he gets to go, see, I told you so. A big I told you so. Like, let's find out. Like, this is your show. But guess what? You guys were wrong. I'm the EP. You know, like, I don't actually think he believes he wants ever a season of Survivor to be bad. I know that's not true. But it's almost like if you're I don't know, if you ever played sports and like, you know, you lost your starting job to somebody and they go and take over. It's like, do you want them to do well because that will help the team win? Or do you like kind of secretly want them to suck so that they put you back in? You know, like, I think there's a part of Jeff that would really enjoy like, man, the fans made all the wrong decisions. This is why I'm right. So like, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory, but I think there is a little bit of that, like, I don't know, that mentality kind of floating around. When he announced it, you kind of could feel that.
I feel like what's interesting about if firemaking's not there, the best case and worst case scenario is the same for production. It's the exact same. And that is Suri getting voted out in 4th place and without a chance to make fire and keep herself in. Because if that happens, then it's the worst case scenario for the fans, but it's a great story because we're all going, are you kidding me? That's how Suri goes. And it's the best case scenario for Jeff because Jeff goes, if y'all would have just voted for fire, Suri would, and they can show like 87 clips of Suri making fire and like doing it in under 3 seconds and stuff. And that's a great story. And Jeff gets to say, if you all would have just voted for fire, guess what? Suri would be a Survivor winner, but you guys screwed Suri.
The fans
again.
screwed it up. This is what happens when we put it in your hands.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
and he loves that.
He would love that. And maybe that's more correct, Phil, that like, he wants one of these picks, at least one of these categories, for the fans to completely get wrong. And there's like a results-based thing he can point to. I don't think he wants the season to be bad or like the whole show to fall apart and unravel. But like, if he gets one thing he can point at and be like, see, I told you I was right. That's definitely part, I feel like part of why this theme might have even like gotten approved or like was even conceptually like taken this far.
Why
Where
does
that's
Jeff
the
want
name
to
of the
hate
season.
on us so much, man?
Well, dude, the fans hate on him. Like,
But he's the one with all the millions of dollars and gets to go to Fiji. We just sit here and watch and hope for the best. What more can he lord over the fans?
Blake, let me ask you this sincerely. I'm asking you this sincerely. You just rubbed your eyes and faked cried and said, "Oh, man, I get to go to Fiji
I only get
twice a year. and I have
$5 million.
$millions." Do you think that Jeff Probst would rather you be right or him get to say, "Blake, you're an idiot. I told you all along. You're wrong." I think
he's getting the money anyway. Yeah,
I think he'd rather say the second there because, like, why would he want you to be smug and happy? And that's how the fans have gotten with Jeff. They've gotten smug and happy.
Here's what I'm trying to say, which I think you can go back to your Survivor seasons of, like, anytime someone wins a Survivor season, they nailed it. They did everything right. Nobody can really go, Michelle should have played better here, or Michelle should have gotten a better relationship with Scott Pollard, or Michelle should have made Ty look weirder. No, Michelle won. All of her conversations going to be, why would Michelle want anybody to feel bad about watching Go Wrong? Like, the same thing is with Jeff of, like, Jeff, you got 5 times the grand prize. You shouldn't care about what anybody's thinking. So trying to rub the noses of the fans in it because they pissed on the carpet and they're not enjoying the show the way you want it to be is such a crazy, outlandish thing for me, where it's like, he shouldn't be watching any podcast, but he should be listening to, like, oh, the audience is not really responding well to Redemption Island. We shouldn't have it ever again. They do like this, though. We should do this again.
I think you're taking it a little bit the wrong way with this. Yeah, you can get mad at me as much as you want, but I think you're taking it the wrong way. It's the same thing. Jeff's essentially the head coach of a football team, and the quarterback's not playing well, so the fans are clamoring for the backup to come in, and like, he's not putting the backup in because he knows what he has and he knows the backup isn't very good, but the fans get loud enough and he eventually puts the backup in and they go, oh shit, this guy is a million times worse than the other. So that's where I don't think any of these, I've been saying this since the night it was announced, I don't think a single number here would be fudged. I really don't, because I don't think there's no loss in any of the outcomes happening, because if
let
we
Colin
get
Kaepernick play, bro. That's our backup right now.
Swap, we get no swap. We get little twists. We get no idols. We get no firemaking. And the season is an absolute snooze fest. Like, yeah, that stinks that your 50th season is a snooze fest, but it's also like, isn't the idea clear now that we're going to do these things in the future? So personally, this is the one that I think is the most split. I think that firemaking, I still think that it's going to happen, but I think this is the most up in the air coin flip out of any of the categories here. This is the one I have no idea really where it's going to land.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of viewers who are younger and newer to the show, because, like, when the show is putting up like 50 million people, even like 10 seasons in, like 20 million people, like, those people have fallen off, and there's a lot of new fans, especially over COVID, like the show going on Netflix. And there's probably quite a few fans that are watching the new era that have, like, kind of only seen the new era. And they look at that vote and they'd be like, why wouldn't you have firemaking? Like, that would be crazy. Like, I think, and I know Blake's shaking his head, and I don't even think firemaking is that bad, but I've just said, everyone vote for no firemaking because it's different. Like, why do we have to do it the same every time? Like, let's sometimes do it, let's sometimes not. Maybe the players have to play around it. Maybe you tell them in advance, maybe you don't. Like, I think there's ways to have fun with the format where it's not completely game breaking. But I'm kind of with you, Phil. I feel like, Phil, I think that there's enough fans that watch the new era, and they're only newer Survivor fans. They're like, why would we take out this really awesome challenge at the end that's in every finale episode that plays such a pivotal role in crowning a champion of the show? We're just going to get rid of that. Like, it might sound foreign to somebody who's never seen an older version of the show.
I voted for it. I voted yes.
What you're saying, Will, is a phenomenon I've seen on Twitter a lot. I don't really have a large presence of posting on Survivor, but I do watch a lot of, like, the newer, younger audience and how they do stuff with reality TV. And they're always like, why did you not tell me that Parvati was amazing on this season? When they go back and rewatch, like, when Survivor's off season, they'll be like, we just watched 48. I really like this season. And then they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna watch starting on China or starting on Micronesia. There's one person that was doing this very visibly, and you could probably go find him. I don't remember his name, but he's like, why did nobody tell me that Parvati absolutely snapped off on this season? And you're like, we did. That is readily available. That's the context that everyone else is watching 48 in. And like, yes, those newer fans are probably like, why would you not have a fire making thing? And then
Part
it's
of the
like, well,
show.
you haven't seen
Mhm.
those heartbreaking final 3 vote outs where it's like, should I vote out my best friend who's going to beat me, or some vote out the person I don't care about at all? Or what's the coolest moment of, oh, Richard Hatch is going to jump off and go, they both have to take me. And that's like one of the craziest realization of strategy that never happens with a fire making thing. And we'll never have that moment again until we get rid of fire making.
And this is what's also interesting about this one is and people have brought this up in the chat. This is the only one of these categories that can happen anyway, even if people vote no. Unless they come up with some other twist. If people vote no, they say, oh, it's a 2-2 split at Final Four. We're going to do a different thing. This is the only one that could happen if people vote no. So we could still be sitting here going, the fans voted no. Let's get let's get the vote 2-2. We're doing it anyway. And then we never actually get to see, then Jeff's going to be like, hell yeah, I'm glad we got this anyway. But Ryan
First one to cry enough to fill up this much.
Ryan Cham with some super chats here. Watch Chrissy get screwed by fire making again, and then Sundra and Becky fire making challenge redux. I don't know if we need that. I don't know if we need a Sundra versus Becky, but in terms of fire,
Will Chrissy gets voted out at Final Four this time.
Yeah,
there's
that's
no fire.
Exactly.
Unless she gets voted out.
God damn, that would be the worst.
How
cry so hard.
If fire making happens, is there it's kind of the same best worst case scenario thing. I just think like we're watching fire again, right? Like I don't know what the worst case scenario.
I think the best case is where it's like you have somebody who we really like a fan favorite legend who is going to get voted out 3-1 if there isn't fire. Jeff announced it. The fans voted for fire making, and it's like, woo! Ceremoniously, let's give this player a chance. They win fire, they win the game, they become a Survivor legend and add to the history of the show. I think that's best case scenario. Worst case, what is the worst case?
I've got the worst case.
The vote would have been interesting, but if the vote's interesting, then it's a 2-2, and then you're getting fire anyway. So I don't know what the worst case of fire making is.
What he says.
I think the worst case would be we didn't tell you at the beginning of the season, so everyone is under the thought process of it's gonna be one way, and then morning of where they're like, oh, it'll be fire making, or it won't be fire making. Jeff Probst is like, it's been fire making. You guys should have voted that person out at 5, but you kept them to 4 because they're so bad at this one thing, but now they're good at fire. Something is what happened to Suri at 16 of they think it's a final 2, but they think it's a final 3, but it's a final 2.
But they're not going to know though until final 4. Yeah,
I think Jeff says he's not. They're not going to know until it happens.
It's going to be.
Then
it's going to be rigged.
I would kind of see fire making being at the final immunity challenge. You should probably let them know before they go to tribal council, unless he wants to make a real big. I think you give them some time to play around it, but they're not going to know at the top of the season. I don't think. I think he's pretty much confirmed that.
Yeah.
What if they waited to do fire making at the reunion and they haven't voted for final 3 reunion?
Shut up.
How do you think they are going to present the fan voting? Do you think we're going to get percentage breakdowns? Are we going to have Jeff popping in where he's doing a live talking to the camera like he did in 41 and 42
Rick
and we're sort of breaking the fourth
it?
wall? I think they have to do some sort of not a segment each week and let's recap what the fans have been doing, but I think they need to. It's the name of the season, Survivor 50 in the hands of the fans. I think whenever there is a decision point that the fans have made, it needs to be addressed by the show in a formal way.
Mm-hmm. And here's how I think it'll go. I think on day 1, Jeff is going to do a walking towards the camera. We got 24 of the best players to ever play the game. It's in the hands of the fans. You all voted for. He's going to tell us the advantage level we voted for. He's going to tell us the twist level we voted for. He's going to tell us the camp supplies, whether they get that or not. He's going to tell us the rice. And he's probably going to tell us if there's idols or no idols. I think that we could find out all of those right off the bat. So we as a fan base know which of those things are happening. Because I could see Jeff being like, idols, you voted to keep them. Twist, it's going to be dynamic this season. So that we know, because I also think he has to tell us what level on those 3-pronged ones, which we'll get to, where it's like strategic, minimal, dynamic. He's got to tell us which level it is so we know how much there's going to be. It can't just be like, oh, we threw in 50 things. And then he tells us like at Final Four, like, oh, by the way, you guys voted for minimal. It's like, that was minimal. Like, I think he has to tell us off the bat. He's going to tell us the camp supplies and rice because we're going to find it out right away.
Yeah, I think he maybe saves that one for the players. Like, that's the first one the players get. The fans decided, players, and you get no rice. Sorry, the fans have no love for you. Like, that's going to be the first one he dishes out to them. And then,
because we're not going to find out final immunity challenge till the end. We're not going to find out tribe swap until one happens or not. And
however, we have 24 people. We don't have time to have Jeff talk to the camera and let us know what votes we got. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like Mike Bloom has an exclusive. You got to go to Mike Bloom's thing, or you got to go to Dalton Ross's thing of whoever went to Fiji and interviewed these people. Like, we're going to tell you that beforehand. And like, if there's a thing at the bottom that's like, are you interested in what won the things? Go to this website or find out here. Like, we don't have time we can't Ghost Island of like explain all the twists when there's 24 people and 2 tribal councils per episode. There's just no time.
There's a 42-minute episode of Redemption Island that has Redemption Island and 2 people also get voted out. They'll find time for the minute that Jeff needs to explain. It's also in his intro. He does his intros every season.
Yeah, and if it's Jeff time too, like, there's always real estate for Jeff time. Like, that's not the first thing to go, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're going to cut confessionals from Genevieve.
And I think they have to. I do think
you guys don't want to hear from Genevieve, right? You came for Jeff Probst.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do.
Blake,
and it can't just be like this shrug off, like, oh, you voted, go check over here, or we're never going to talk about it. Like, it has to be addressed. It has to be talked about because it is the title of the 50th season. It really has to be. And they might ham it up
first
too much.
Title in 9 seasons, too.
So, okay. So let's just quick one-word answer. Yes or no, is Firemaking happening this season?
Yes, rigged. All one word.
I don't think it's rigged, but I do believe that like the online younger people voting who are new fans of the show probably voted the most. And I think they voted for Fire.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's happening, but I think that one's going to be close. And that's where I don't think Jeff will tell us the percentages. So since we talked about Fire, I want to talk about tribe swap. Yes, right?
Has to have a tribe swap, or I will be like, what's the point?
So let's talk real quick through this. Are we going to feel bad if somebody gets swap screwed? That's a huge favorite. Or we're the fans. We don't care. We've seen this happen enough. It doesn't matter.
It's going to happen to 4 people. You just hope it's not your 4 favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I mean, people have been getting swap screws in season 3. So like, you can't be mad.
I hope it's a social tribe swap and not pick random buffs.
Yeah, Ryan Chan says the question is what kind of tribe swap? I think it's pick random buffs or pick random rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we go. I hope there's a 3-2. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hope we see 2 tribes. It would be the first time in the new era that there's been 2 tribes existing at once, which is just crazy. Mm-hmm. You could use some head-to-head challenges that are often very fun. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Or just do a memory match game. A classic Survivor challenge.
Blake is still burnt out from Redemption Island. He won't let it go. He won't.
Oh, I thought you were doing like maybe like the Go Fish, the mixer.
He won't let it go.
I like the mixer game. What if we brought back the mixer?
I love the mixer game. The mixer game would be incredible.
And that's pretty much, pretty much have to do that with 2 tribes. I guess there's a 3-tribe version that you could do, but it would be kind of messy. I think you go to 2 tribes and do the mixer.
There's so many swaps from the Survivor history where it's like, did they just not get good feedback on those swaps, or were they like, oh, this will only happen once because
they don't have
people
time.
Can game the system or something?
There's 24 people in the season. I don't have time to actually like execute a tribe swap. They have to get Jeff in at the beginning.
They can't do something crazy swap mechanics, Blake. There's no time.
Yeah. Ryan Chan says, watch it be the Survivor China swap. That's the one everybody's been clamoring for to come back, where you pick the 2 people from the other tribe that you would want, and then they're like, wow, those are just the 2 people you get. There's no other twist. That's literally what happens. That's it. I think we're just getting a buff rock draw, something like that.
Yeah,
Although I wish
it was a basket.
Yeah, I wish it was an alternating thing, but you can't really alternate with 3. So,
do we vote for gross food challenges or not?
They could do a schoolyard pick if they go to 2.
That would be nice. All right, idols or no?
Isn't it how many idols or idols at all?
It's will there be idols or not? That was the last category of this.
Has to be idols.
That's why these questions were so like, because again, like tribe swap and no tribe swap. Not to go back to that too much, but like, obviously, yes, everyone's gonna say tribe swap. So like, even our commenter here, like, what type of tribe swap? That's the question. Like, that's what the fans should have been voting on. And like the same thing with this idol question. Of course, people want. It's like a straw man argument. That's just like, everyone, you guys always say there's too many idols. So guess what? The question is no idols or idols. It's like, no, but Jeff, we never say we don't want any idols. We've just said there's too many. And so it's like, that's what we should be voting on. So like, this is another one, Phil. It's like, yes, obviously there's going to be idols.
Do you guys want trash or you guys want cheesecake? And it's like, no, we want to pick what flavor cheesecake we get.
And that's
Blake.
a great look at that, Blake. Here we go. He's
analogy.
back. Yeah. So because
Oreo cookies and cream tribe swap.
Okay? And here's the thing that, I mean, we all talked about this when it happened, but we had, and I'm going to get to these other questions. We had gotten what level of advantages do you want? How impactful do you want the twist to be? Then the last question is idols or no idols. And I'm like, but I thought idols or no idols was involved in the advantage level and the twist. Like, I didn't realize it was something. What is the best case scenario of a no idol season? What's the best case scenario?
The voting blocks.
Amazon and Pearl Islands. Those are the only 2. And Pearl Islands is made, it's stupid twist, but Burton coming back honestly makes that season more entertaining. Lil coming back makes it more entertaining. So if you don't have an Outcast or Redemption Island or Edge of Extinction, the best case scenario is Amazon. That's it.
The best case scenario is voting blocks from Cambodia, but then you don't have the moment where Wentworth stays around, and then you hope that it topples, but it doesn't topple.
Yeah, and I guess I'm saying like Amazon, like it's negative. I love Amazon. I love Vanuatu, but like then you're talking like, do we really want to go back to Thailand, Marquesas, Australia, Borneo, Africa? People claim they want that. Even Blake, when he does his season rankings, suddenly has all these other seasons ranked so much higher. So it's not actually what people want to go back to. There's no way we're getting no idols. No way.
Yeah, and I wish. Okay, I think here's the best case scenario though for no idols is that they don't tell the fans. Like, let's say somehow it gets voted no idols. The fans, or sorry, the players, they don't tell the players. And so at least they're still playing the game as if there are idols, because that's what a lot of the idol plays are great. When someone plays it correctly, it's great. But so much of what idols do is complicate the voting strategy, like doing a split vote and then having one person flip. So you can do like a creative, like Operation Italy doesn't happen if there are no idols in the game. You know, like there didn't need to be an idol play necessarily, but they need to exist. Or at least the presence of a possibility of an idol. So like the worst case scenario is they say no idols, and then they tell the players up front no idols. And then like the gameplay will just lack creativity and some of the strategic thought that we enjoy talking about.
This is one that we're going to know and the players aren't. I feel like we're going to know this episode 1 right away, and the players aren't going to ever know until the season's over.
Or and Jeff will be at the intro. There might be idols. There might not be. I bet you verbatim. Quote me on that.
There has to be like a believable chance that you can date the supermodel that's trying to sell you the hamburger. Like that's how advertising has worked. And that's how this is going to work, of like, there's a believable chance that somebody could win Survivor even when they're going to get 23rd place, because idols. Yeah, I think even shots in the dark are going to be around, even though we literally do not care about those.
And that's weird that we did not get to vote on shots in the dark. Like that seemed like that would be such a slam. Wait, Phil, you're not going to read the comment?
Well, Blake, you kept talking, so I guess
I want to talk.
I mean, I was talking. Oh my god! Oh my god!
That thing to just sit up there, just let that thing float.
Well, Nick Snyder says Will's takes are fantastic today. That's what it was.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I just feel like Yeah, we're getting idols. This actually, I said that Tribe Swap would probably be the most, or LA would be the most, whatever. This one might be 99 to 1%. You're going to get the grumpy old guy sitting there at his computer who voted every day,
Yeah,
voted as many times as he could from as many different email addresses. Blake has all these burner accounts saying all these nice things about him over on the live chat here because he was voting for no idols, but there's no way. I mean, idols make the game go round. We have seen them in every season since what, season 11? Like, come
11.
on. Come on.
Guatemala.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, let's talk about the two that are going to impact the players, but don't really impact us, because I don't think that this one really has a best or worst case scenario. But Rice or no Rice, do they get their camp supplies or do they not? What do you think the fans are going to land on for this? And do you think that there actually is a benefit or a negative to one side or the other happening on?
I hope we don't hear anything about this. I don't care about this at all, and I don't think we should use any screen time. It should be in the background and pop up video if we care about it.
This is the one where we go to the website to check.
Yeah.
I think that, man, it's weird. Again, if I'm leaning that it's going to be more recent fans that are doing the.
He just freeze for you?
Oh, yeah. I think
frozen. Well, you froze.
Try again, Will.
I go out.
Well, you froze big time. I think you're back now.
I'm back. You go. I just got completely my internet.
Well,
just
one
shut
thing
off
that
in the middle of it.
blows my mind about watching old seasons is like we remember all the like actual arguments or human moments or whatever, and there's been some that have involved rice of like eat your rice or we like this specific rice. But when there's food talk or rice food talk of old seasons, that is the part where I'm like, oh my God, this could be my favorite season, but I want to fast forward through this of like what the distribution of food. Yes, it's kind of the social dynamics and games of like, I caught this fish, I'm gonna eat it all by myself in the woods. Like maybe there's some of that. We've even had Rome like eating something next to somebody and the food got on them or whatever. I remember that being a moment in a recent season. But you're like, these are not the moments where I'm like showing my friends to get them in to watch Survivor for the 50th year of like, check out their rice dynamics.
Yeah, I don't feel like as an audience we care anymore. And Will's having a little bit of trouble here, I guess. But I don't feel like as an audience we really care so much about the food or the camp supplies or anything like that anymore. And so if it's like, oh, we want the game to be a little bit tougher on the players or something like that, it's season 50, we want everybody to suffer more or whatever it is. Okay, like, sure, that's fine. I don't even remember what I voted for with these. My bet is that it's no rice and no camp supplies are what win, because people like to like just, they're going to be like, hey, let's just like knock them down. Who cares? Here comes Will Point 2.0. Here he is. There's Will 2.0.
Will? He wasn't charging something? Did it die or something?
No, that's what's weird because I left and then I'm back. So
now you're back. We're just talking about how I was just saying I think that there will be no rice given and there will be no camp supplies. But I think as an audience, we really don't care. People are just going to vote for like, make it as tough as possible because they're not the ones who are ultimately starving. So that would be my assumption in this.
Yeah. Is there a good version or bad version? Like, do we care? Is this something that we're even going to like I'm with you, Blake, that like some of the best moments in early seasons are like the survival and food aspects. And if they have the cooking supplies and they have like some food to make, they can argue over it. But like, I'm thinking if the show, especially with the time, as Blake has reminded us, all these tribal councils and 24 players, like even if we get great food arguments, does that even make the cut on a season like this with like returning players and this many of them? So like, I don't know if it matters.
Banana etiquette.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about banana etiquette for a 5th season of really getting deep into can I eat or not.
I mean, there are so many great food moments
about Survivor. Let me ask
what do I like about Survivor? I love strategy. I mean, it literally is like my 5 versus your 5 and who can knock out the other 5 because we were super smart this 1 hour period when all of us were hungry because we didn't use proper banana etiquette.
So
you didn't like when Jane caught the fish and ate it on her own in Nicaragua? Wasn't that a highlight of like one of the best seasons of the show?
Yeah.
All right, we got to get off. We just lost 46 viewers and we only had 45, so that's not good. All right. let's do these. These were the ones that were worded in such a way, and these are the ones that stand out. We only have 3 left. Advantage, level, and twists. And I just want to read the twist wording one more time for everybody to understand how leading this is. The right twist at the right moment can change the game for players in exciting ways, but some fans prefer a more straightforward game where strategic alliances are all that matter. Which are you? So do you want a lot of twists or do you want no twists is essentially what is asked. And I love that that's worded where it's like, twists are exciting. Non-twists are stupid. I just still can't get over the wording of that. Which way do you think they want you to go? What do you think people are ultimately going to vote for? A lot of twists or no twists?
Wait, was this a binary choice?
This one was. Advantage, level was not. That's the next one I'm going to get to.
That's crazy to me that they didn't have, like, I guess they have advantage level at the 3-tiered system, which I think they should have done for this. And then, whenever you offer kind of like a, odd number of options, usually it ends up in the middle anyway. But like, I think I don't know. I hope we vote. I think there was a movement to like really vote no twist. So I think it's going to be like very few twists. Because like but do we know the exact wording, Phil, of the actual choices? Like what was the button you clicked on? It wasn't no twists.
No, it was, do you want, it was like something like rare or like I forget what the other word is. I don't have it here, but it was like rare or something else.
Yeah, it was like rare or frequent.
And that's what I didn't understand too, is like this came after the advantage question and they were so similar that it was like, are you trying to get more info because the advantage question like landed in the middle? So now you're trying to figure out what people want. That's what confused me. Because when I look at this, like rare twists or a lot of twists, how is this different from like dynamic advantages, minimal advantages, or strategic advantages? Like it kind of feels samey to me. And so on this one, like, yeah, I want twists, but is this something where if the vote is 55 to 45, maybe they don't do that many twists? They do like a middle range of twists. And if it's like 70 to 30, they just overload it with twists, because I feel like twists is going to win out on this. But
I mean, that's
at what level, like to what degree?
I think that's what's frustrating is there 3 of us are very versed in Survivor. And so maybe I don't want to put words in y'all's mouth, but I'm ready for them to screw it up. But like one thing that I'm wondering is how many seasons have you watched of Survivor and gone, I wish there were more twists on this season? And then how many seasons have you watched, got done with, and said, I wish there were less twists on this season? And if we were smart and we're part of this team that we're coming up with these choices, I think we'd sit down and write all 48 seasons down one by one, go around in a circle. What do we know? You were there, you were working it, you were watching it as a fan, you just started binge watching all this. We get all these different ideas and examples and opinions from everybody and go, legitimately, if we go 1 through 48, is it 40 seasons or more where we're like, we wish there were more? Let's put a little more in. Or no, there's only been like 5 seasons where we needed one more twist. Let's do less twists than we have. And I think that's another one where we could fudge the numbers a little bit of like, we gave you this example. It kind of looked weird, but even though you said we want more, we're going to do the nuanced version because we like these conversations that are hypothetical. That would be an amazing hour for us to sit in a room with someone like Jeff and be like, what do you really think about the twist with your show? Do you think it's trending in a great thing? Do you think there's too many? Do you think there's too little? And that's something where I'm like, could Jeff sit there and listen and be like, that's a cool opinion. Here's what I like these twists. Does he change our mind? Do we change his at all? What's that conversation get to? And I think would make the season better where we're like, oh, I actually like where we're at right now. We just don't want them to be hokey. I want my friend that I'm watching with, I can explain the twist in 2 sentences and not have it come off cringe. Because that's all I want.
What I think about with this is this essentially saying if it's 51 to 49, yes, twists, we're getting journeys. And if it's 51 to 49, no twists, we're not getting journeys. Like, is that what we're talking about with twists? And is it that binary where like a really close vote would still lead to journeys and crazy, like, I mean, I guess advantage is going to be like shot that, like will be knowledge is power and all that stuff. But like, what do you think, Will?
I think my question here is like, what are we calling twists and what are we calling advantages? Because so often in the show, a new advantage introduced to the game is a twist. So like, and that's why it was
Telling you
awkward
the
when this
power.
came out. Yeah, like knowledge is power. Is that a twist or is it an advantage? It's an advantage, but it's a pretty big on the table. We already voted separately for a tribe swap. So like that's not included in here. Journeys, is that a twist or is that a format piece? I don't know. I think we saw a comment here like what kind of like Edge of Extinction, like but no, that's too big of an overarching theme that like we would have to really be able to vote on that. You can't just like toss that in. And you have 24 people, so like no way. But like what qualifies as a twist that doesn't also qualify as an advantage, I guess? Like what are we talking about here?
Because like losing a vote, that's not an advantage, but it's no longer a twist because we all know it's there. Like to me, a twist was always something new that happened. A twist was a tribe swap always counted as a twist because of like when it happened in the game. But to me, like a twist was always something that was unexpected. Losing your vote at this point is expected. Like going on a journey at this point is expected.
Pretty expected.
You know, rolling
Francesca
a die
coming
to
back
determine
a
your outcome
third
in the game.
time at Final 5, unexpected.
What is?
Francesca coming back a third time at Final 5.
There you
Not
go.
expected.
And that would be a twist. Like the Outcast twist is a twist. That is a twist. That is something that upends the game.
Right. So like, yeah. So like things like the hourglass, that's a twist. Do or die, that's a twist. Like we don't want to see those things.
No.
So like I guess so we're basically we were voting on whether we would be introing new twists that we haven't seen before. I feel like that will happen, especially if it goes twist. Maybe that's what we're leaning towards, like some new thing that like this franchise, the US version, has yet to do but exists in other franchises. Like we just did our Brant steal and we had a tribal council where they like voted someone to go to the other tribe, and whoever got voted, Tiffany even played her idol at that tribal council, which is crazy. But she got voted, or she didn't get voted because she played her idol. But then somebody got voted. I think it was Jenna, and then she got to pick somebody to go with her, and they went to the other tribe. Like that is a twist. I don't think we have time for that specifically, but like I guess I'm open to like things that are going to throw the players off and like be a little bit new and different, but we don't want them frequently. We don't want them breaking the game. So like I don't know what the best or worst version of this is.
What about Cochrane on an exile yacht?
I'm always in on that.
I just, this to me, this one means nothing. And that's where I'm having a hard time. I don't remember if I voted yes or no. I think yes is going to happen because chaos is probably what most voters want. They want it to be as chaotic as possible, but I'm in agreement. Like, does getting twists mean new things we haven't seen, or is it just rehashing what we watched through the 40s? Because if you're rehashing what you watched through the 40s, Mergatory is not a twist anymore. We've already seen it 9 times.
Yeah, no, like splitting into groups isn't really a twist anymore. Like that's part of the new era format. And like if it is like this gets voted yes on twist and they bring back do or die, like that's really like it's not even in the hands of the fans, because like we're not even deciding what the twists are. It's the same thing when Blake was talking about the flavor of cheesecakes. It's like we're not even voting on the specific things.
Yeah.
So Phil, you said is it going to be rehash of stuff from 41 through 49? And I think what sucks is you and your friends are doing this as you're getting your drink from Sonic, or you're talking to your mom on the way to church about Survivor, of what could be cool and interesting. I think the average fan has more creative stuff when it comes to Survivor stuff because we don't have the limitations, or we don't have the like negative bone in our body, and we don't have that's going to cost too much, or we don't have to think about 24 buffs, 24 tiles, 24 names, 24 things are made for everybody. Of like everything you can come up will be more interesting than rehashing 41 through 49 on these twists. But I'm fully like everything we're seeing on 50 will be a rehash from 41 through 49. Like I can almost guarantee that based on the effort being put in from the 40 through 48.
I don't know. I think there's part of Jeff that like on a returning player season loves to be like, oh, they're experienced. We got to
let's do fire tokens.
Yeah, let's throw in something they've never seen. Like we did get fire tokens on Winners at War. Second Chance, we got
the first 2 teams together. 2 tribes together, the same tribal.
Yeah, that was Game Changers. You're right. And then like 31 was we went from 2 tribes to 3 tribes. Like that had never happened before. So like on a returning player season, like the last 3 of them at least, fully returning player seasons, we've seen something that we haven't seen before. So probably expect
that is true. And in season 8, we had 3 tribes for the first time in the history of the show. Like he does mix it up. Yeah. I mean, but look, Blake, I'm giving you a hard time on this, but I do feel like a lot of fans probably feel similarly to you. But it's like I could have a glass that is half full right now, and Blake would be like, "No, that's poopy river water. You can't drink that anyway. It's going to kill you. I'm going to put a hole in the bottom of the glass so that we all die anyway." Like, there's no. I feel like you're so you're so down on all of this right now.
We just watched 40 though. I'm kind of snake bit from 40, and I have to wonder if people can the same people that brought you seasons 41 through 48 are now bringing you season 50. Like I don't want to be like, I'm gonna put my expectations low, and then it's like, what if it's even worse? And I get that I'm trying to be a trifecta here of like, but this is how I kind of truly feel of like, when's the last time a season really knocked your socks off?
I mean, 46 and 47 were great.
Right. But like the seasons before lowered your expectations enough, and it was better than all the seasons around it. But I'm like, what would it take for an all-star season to really knock your socks off at this point? And I'm just scared of that number of 24 people because they can't edit their show to be dynamically, everybody's getting their own, what is it called? Equal. So 24 people, I think, is what's just going to be tough. Well,
speaking of dynamic, advantage level, it was minimal, strategic, or dynamic. What do you think won on this?
Strategic. I think the middle result will always win on something like this. It's just like that's how, like, if you get a big enough sample size, and unless it's like very, very obvious, so there's like one bias to either side, which I don't think there is here. It's like I think everyone just went straight down the middle. Like this will be a middling amount of advantages.
Yeah, I tried to. I pushed for minimal hard because I feel like minimal is still going to be more than what a lot of people want. So I was like, go minimal, go minimal, go minimal. But I do feel like the middle is like people saying, all right, it won't be too crazy. It won't be too little. We're going to go. I agree. I think strategic is what's going to win out.
Yeah. I think what's tricky with this
is the best
like,
word too.
Yeah. And I think what's tricky is that these words are all like subjective. It's not like, okay, we have 26 days, 24 players. We're going to have 5 advantages in the game. That would probably be strategic, right? Like you have like a steal a vote, a lose a vote, an extra vote, a safety without power, and a knowledge is power, maybe. You could overdo that.
I think he froze. What's also crazy, because I think Will froze there. What's also crazy though is you froze, but idols aren't included in this. So you got to
right.
like not.
No, that's what I mean.
You listed off your 5 and then it froze, but like idols aren't included in this. So it's like when I voted for this originally, it's like, okay, strategic or minimal should at least be idols. And it's like, no, idols is a whole different category. So when you're saying what level of advantages are we going to get, you're not even considering. So idols are its own thing. And then you could have 5 or 6 here. What does dynamic look like?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, even if we do vote minimal is the answer. You could do 2 to 3 advantages because that's what the fans voted for. The hands of the fans, baby. But then the idol question isn't how many idols. It's just if there are. In the advantages.
We gotta figure this out.
Well, you're dying on us, buddy.
I had a good point too.
You said if the idols, and then it totally killed us.
I had one that Nick would really like. What I'm saying is, maybe I'll come through this time.
Hopefully.
Is if there we go. If we voted minimally for twist and or for advantages, there's only 2 to 3. When we voted for idols, we didn't get asked the count. So it's like if Jeff still wants a lot of advantages in the game, he can just supplement it with a lot of idols. So there could be like 10 idols, and it's like, well, the fans said yes to idols and they said minimum advantages. So now we only have 2 advantages. We have 1 extra vote and 1 steal a vote, and that's it. But then there could be like 35 idols, and it would still be in the hands of the fans. Like there's a lot of, and this is maybe where I'm like not fully on Blake's side in terms of rigging it. Like, I don't think they're like fudging numbers in terms of votes, but like, can they look at all the answers and then put together what they want to do and come up with like a cohesive story of like, this is what the fans said. If they can point to something like this, like fans said they wanted idols. Now there's 15 idols. Fans said minimal advantages. Now there's only 2 advantages. It's like, then you still have 17 advantages technically,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And I think, yeah, rather than rigging the numbers, they hedged their bets. That's really what it feels like.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hedged. Blake, you agree strategic though? I know you said that's the best word. I mean, do you remember what you voted for on this?
What were the 3 options again?
Minimal, dynamic, and strategic.
I probably said strategic. Yeah, we're rooting for strategic.
I think I went minimal just for Phil's. Phil really convinced me, I think. He's like, everyone do minimal because we don't know what these words even mean.
Yeah, I was like, I'm scared of what dynamic means. And now, like, the fact that we find out idols was its own category about 8 weeks later, I was like, wait, so what the hell did I vote for last time? Like, I don't know what I voted for.
But thank God we voted minimally.
And that actually does make me think, though, this probably landed on strategic. So then they were like, okay, well, let's put in, do they want idols or not?
Do you think there's a world in which idols are actually considered advantages, but it was just like, do we want idols in the game? Yes or no? If we are saying idols do exist, how many of them do we want? And that's what this question's asking. Is that it?
It could be that like each of the questions that was asked about this kind of led to the next question. And that's why there was such a gap in between where it was like, what level of advantages, what do you want? They vote strategic. So then it's like, do you want twists or no? They vote yes. And then it's like, okay, but do you want idols or not? I don't know.
So they were like refining. We were like going down like a flow chart. And it wasn't like you were answering the questions all at once. It's like, okay, you chose the path of yes, idols. Okay, now we're gonna ask you how many, but like then they should have said idols and advantages. Like this should all be more clear, like in way like more objective about the process. Like again, the theme of the season is called "In the Hands of the Fans," and it really does not feel that way. At least with like the wording of all these questions. But we'll see. I mean, maybe they really took it seriously, and we get percentages, and Jeff shows their whole process, and we get a 20-minute segment every episode, Blake, instead of 2 tribal councils. Like, I don't know. Like, there is a world where they like Jeff really want to take this seriously and document it and like make it a part of the episodes. To what extent that is, I don't know. But it does feel, as of now, as of reading the questions, that it feels like, Phil, they were hedging their bets. The best way you put it, they were hedging. Like they're like, you answered this way, so we can do this on this one, even though you answered that way. Like it feels just so like nebulous of like what actually are they going with. So,
is there a body part that rhymes with Jeff?
No,
probably neck.
Because instead of in the hands of the fans, it could be in the neck of Jeff or something. Very quickly.
I do think the flow chart thing makes sense. And St. Cliffo says, it sounds to me, if it was a flow chart, fans might have voted minimal and they wanted to know if we wanted idols or all the way back to basics. And maybe that's why this was the last question, because it was like, wow, like they voted minimal. Maybe they don't even want idols. And then we voted idols and it was like, oh no, idols definitely are in. So I don't know.
There it is in the toes of Probst.
In the toes of Probst. All right. Last one was the final immunity challenge. So it was Samotion, the obstacle course, or the Ben Katzman one. And
that iconic challenge from Survivor 46 where Ben Katzman won. And
you didn't like that one.
Eliminated that pesky person that went home in 4th place.
Wait, so you're saying you would rather Samotion or the obstacle course than that one?
No, hands on a hard idol. It's impossible.
Okay, but you don't have that option, Blake. You have these 3 options.
They know everyone would vote for that. So what's the point of putting an iconic challenge that's only been used once with Ben Katzman that didn't lead to any change in the power dynamic of that season?
Okay, personally, I would rather the one where Chris does it and he has to like hold the arrow pose and it goes through the piece of paper, that one. But I get it, Blake. I get it. I get what you're saying.
Thailand
these
coins?
are the 3 options you have. Like, are you really saying that the Ben one is the one you'd least want to see?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, that's what I voted for.
I'd rather watch
that one.
That's
Promotion or the stuff from Thailand.
So some he's actually got dice in between his fingers like the coins. Some motion I am so bored with. We just watched Kyle do it. I don't need to do it again. An obstacle course, why is that the last challenge of the season? Make that an early challenge. If you were going to do a big challenge build, it should have been a maze like we used to do in Heroes Villains and in other seasons like that. To me, this was a no-brainer. And Blake's playing with his food over there. But this was a no-brainer, and I'm shocked that out of everything you've attacked today, this is the one that makes the least sense, which is crazy because some of the stuff you've attacked today has made no sense.
I still don't know why he hates the teal color.
Okay, so what I am actually trying to say is I think we've touched on this a little bit, but it was very much this is what Jeff and production is allowing us to vote on for. And if there was hands on a hard idol, I think there would be a 70+% people voting for that. And obviously there's Palau. Oh, it hurt some of our players, or some of our people had to work overtime. And you always have to think about the workers. Remember the workers. But if you're going to be talking about when survivors break records in every other facet of your challenge, but basically prevent them from breaking records in challenges like this ever again, because we need to go to second meal and we don't want to spend extra money anymore. It's something where, like, when we can peek behind the curtain and figure out why these decisions are being made. And if we're going to celebrate Survivor and have museums or people, or bring back people from all different eras, and this is a culmination of everything that's ever been Survivor, if you're not having hands on a hard idol as that final thing, I'm going, what's the fucking point?
Okay. I get it. I get what you're saying. And I think there's a lot of people who feel that way. And yeah, it was disappointing that, again, some of these
Blake,
categories...
just to let you know, Blake, that wasn't one of the three choices.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of these, I think that's where a lot of
people, this is in the toes of the probes instead of the hands of the fans.
We're disappointed because it was, we're going to get to really pick. And it was, no, we're not going to give you 175 options. We're going to give you 3. We're going to give you 2. The most options I think we had was 3 throughout this entire process. So it was already narrowed down for us. And it was now, what do you want from this? And it wasn't asking us the big questions that a lot of us wanted. Final 2 or final 3, 3 tribes or 2 tribes, like whatever. Yeah, I get hands on a hard idol would have been there. I also, though, and Blake, maybe you're going to disagree with this. Maybe Will disagree with this. Maybe the people listening will disagree with this.
Never.
I actually think that if you put hands on a hard idol up there, though, I don't think it gets 70%. I don't think it dominates the vote, because I think there's enough people who are watching the show now, especially those who are actually going and voting, because my parents aren't voting and they've watched in season 1. And I know a lot of people like that who are like, I'm not going to vote. The people who are voting are going to say, that means nothing to me. I don't care. They're going to go, oh, that's the one from Australian Survivor season 1. That's what they're going to say. They're not going to care about boring.
No, they're going to say, wait, the challenge is just putting a hand on an idol. That's got to be the dumbest idea. That's got to be boring as hell.
I don't think it would actually win.
An obstacle course.
Yeah, I don't think it would win. I really don't. Will, what do you think wins? I know we both want Ben. What wins?
I think it's pretty close between Samotion or the Plinko puzzle. I hope the Plinko puzzle wins. I love that build. It's huge. It's visual. Like it feels grand. It feels like a finale. It feels like 50. Samotion, I think, is like one of the most creative, most incredible Survivor challenges. Like one of the most awesome individual challenges maybe the show has ever had. I think that's why they bring it back so much. But like, we have seen it far too many times, and far too many times recently. A challenge that good to like really make it amazing, don't use every season. Like, it's kind of lost its luster a little bit because we've seen it over and over. So I want the Plinko one. It's a really creative idea that we'd only seen it once before on Millennials vs. Gen X, and then they made it like supersized. They combined it with the Nicaragua Plinko game. So like, because it's such a big build and because it's a challenge we've really only seen in 2 other seasons of the show, that's the winner for me.
I think it's going to be Samotion. And I almost equate this to like when fans vote for All-Stars. Even if a player is hurt for half the year or they're having a bad season, if you're the star of your league, you're going to get voted into the All-Star game. Like it's going to happen. Samotion is the most recognizable of these. And I think that's the one that people are going to vote for because we talk about this to death. I agree it's been overdone, but a lot of people are going, they're not thinking about Survivor every week, every day. They're thinking about it 26 times every year, right? Once a week while it's on, that's it. And they're like, oh, I love Samotion. Let's do that. And I think because it is such a good challenge, that's going to be the one that wins. And I think that a lot of the diehards are going to be like, I just watched Kyle do that. I don't need to watch it again.
My thought process of voting for these three, Samotion is the only one worthy of the 50. I would be completely confused by only doing it for the second time ever. And I would be completely confused about an obstacle course being the penultimate thing of it's supposed to be the final challenge is anybody can win. It's not who's going to run around and get the puzzle pieces fast enough, who's going to put the puzzle together quicker, who's got better balance or whatever. That's the whole thing about Hands on a Hard Idol or Samotion. Samotion is the evolution of an endurance challenge of maybe my body can't do everything, but my hand-eye coordination most likely can, because it's not just the youngest person who wins these. But I think Samotion is the only one worth a 50 final challenge.
Imagine an obstacle course as the last challenge, and the final four are D, Jonathan, Joe, and Suri. And the last challenge is an obstacle course. Guess who's finishing fourth place in that challenge? That's where the problem with the obstacle course is. Like, I agree with you, but like the obstacle course can't win this because that's got to be final 6, final 7, final 8.
Yeah, I mean they do those. They're doing those anyway. So the fact that was even an option felt kind of like a slap in the face, to be honest.
I agree.
I agree.
Again, do a maze.
We all agree on that.
A blindfolded maze, like they did in 20. Like, do the heroes villain. The heroes villains final immunity challenge is one of the best immunity challenges in the history of the show. Do that.
Yeah, I mean, usually when they do mazes now, like in the 30s and even 40s, have they done a maze recently? I think they did.
In the 40s? I don't even know.
I don't know if they have, but like modern, like the maze is for your first challenge of the finale. So when you're at 6 people or 5 people left is usually when they're doing the mazes now. So I understood why that wasn't a choice. But Blake, I don't like, you don't think because at its core, the Plinko challenge from 46, it's very similar in concept to Samotion in terms of what it's testing. It's testing your ability to like keep track of time and focus while having something else going on.
And there's still the running back and forth that some people are going to struggle with.
It's running back and forth, but it's not that far. I wouldn't say it's like a physical challenge. It's more like, okay, I got to put together this pretty complicated puzzle, but I got to make sure that ball doesn't hit the ground. It's like very similar to Samotion, which, okay, I got to just make sure that I'm following which side the ball is coming out. Like these are focus-based games. And I think that's where they both work as like fair and equal. Like we're not favoring any one specific type of person here. Like even if you're good at puzzles, like you have to be so focused on not letting the ball drop that I think it evens it all out. So like and the build is way bigger. Like it's a more grander, larger scale challenge. And I think that's what the finale of season 50 deserves.
So one thing I remember about this Ben Katzman challenge, we don't know the name of it. Samotion is a quick motion of this to there. But I remember both women struggling, throwing it up high enough to get over into the Plinko part. I do remember Ben and Charlie not struggling with that. So not to just immediately contradict what you said, but I do think there is an issue of
that's fair.
This is a lot easier to go from my knees to my shoulders, than do I have enough oomph? And yes, we probably figure it out after their first 6 throws, but that 6 throws are pretty hard. That's a lot of time.
Or like maybe Survivor, like they learn that they're like, okay, like we can make the mechanism in which the ball, like maybe it is like a pinball.
A plunger would be
back.
cool.
You put the ball and you pull the thing back.
Yeah.
And
if it's a plunger, I'm in.
Yourself. Yeah, like there's and they do take these challenges and tweak them and make them better. And if that was something that people were noticing that like, wow, it was actually a struggle to get the ball up there, because that's not the concept of the challenge. The concept is to like throw this ball on this huge thing and like the timing and the focus of it all. Like it's not supposed to be how hard you can throw the ball to get it up the wall. And if that was what it ended up happening, then that was like not the intended part of the challenge that they want to focus on. So that's something they could probably fix.
You know what would be a good final challenge? Hands on a heart idol. That would be
Or a
sick.
podcast with Will. How long can you go? And
Ouch.
Where did that
Burn.
hour 19 minutes and all of a sudden Blake's just taking a shot at Will after they just
or a
came to an
podcast with
agreement.
Blake.
You know what I did? Hope it is.
Honestly.
I hope it's the Ben Katzman Plinko challenge. I hope they paint them all the merge buff, which is
Teal.
going to be teal. That's what I hope.
Yeah, that would be glorious.
Classic.
That would be glorious. All right. That's going to cover this. We're done. We went through all of them. We talked about it. That's what we think will happen. We talked through good scenarios, bad scenarios, all of that. Become a patron, patreon.com/a-specialist. We're diving into Redemption Island.
Honestly, you have to listen to Redemption Island to make what we did over the last 3 weeks worth it.
We've said this many times. The conversations about the really bad seasons are often the funniest and like most fun. I don't know if we had the most fun on this one per se, because we did have to watch the whole season of Redemption Island. But like,
about
when we're just like ripping into a season, like I do find it like sometimes more fun than like we're just talking about heroes versus villains. We're like, oh, this season's so good. And it's like, all right, well, like, what are you gonna add? And it's like, well, I don't know. It was really good.
Yeah, we literally did a whole entire episode about Philip Shepard because it was like, what are we going to do as an 8th topic? Like, we don't have a choice. So yeah, we're doing Redemption
We are
Island.
namesake to Philip. So
yeah, I'm finishing up Titans versus Rebels, or going through Titans versus Rebels. Rock draws, casting perspective, movie stuff, Teg Talks. Tomorrow the Teg Talk. Me, Tegwith, and Ryan, Tegwith's partner, we sat down and we did a idol play draft. So that was a fun one. So that's coming out tomorrow. If you want to be a patron, patreon.com/specialist. We also have
invited to a Teg Talk.
Will, after this podcast, you have to stay on for 3 seconds because you're about to be invited to one. So people will know if you don't show up on the 12th that you didn't accept the invite.
Ooh, I might have something that day.
But anyway, so also in terms of Survivor 50 coverage, we're going to continue going with everything you need to know about. Tomorrow's episode is going to be about Aubrey. Will and I will be talking about Aubrey. Get out of here with Sash. Will and I will be talking about Aubrey tomorrow. And then we have Angelina Q, Mike White, and Coach as the last 4 people that we have remaining for everything you need to know about. In terms of the defining episodes, we're getting into
Q. Do we already show Q?
No, I said that. We're getting into D's episode next for the defining episodes, and then we're starting to make our way into the people in the 30s, which might be episodes that you're forgetting. David versus Goliath, a bunch of interchangeable episodes, which has been really fun. And then next week, we're going to start our AU versus the world coverage more in depth. We're going to do a fantasy draft. Not sure of what date yet, so make sure you follow us on social media to find out. Probably somewhere in there on like the Monday or Wednesday timeframe, something like that. And then AU versus the world starts on the 17th, so then we get into that. And then the 49 cast should be here. So I'm counting this as pretty much the end of the off season, which it was not an off season. This was our most on off season ever. We podcasted more this off season than we do during season. So appreciate you all sticking with us. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Blake has a question.
I've got one more in me. I just came up with this thought process.
Oh God.
Would it be worth showing up next Monday at the same time to talk about the potential legacy boost or hit each player would get by being on this season?
I mean, Will?
I mean, I think we talk offline about this. You're tossing in a brand new podcast. I think I like the topic, but we got to figure out.
All right, you guys in whatever 7 times.
I'm glad Blake comes up with this now after we've been struggling to come up with ideas for weeks.
It popped into my head. What do you want me to do? Wait till offline when I don't have all the hands of the fans right here?
All right, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You might be getting another 50 episode. Who knows? Bye, everyone.
See ya.